Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming. So, Ian, are you ready for the big event yet? You guys? Have you made all the arrangements? When is a lucky day, happy day? Next Saturday. Did you guys know what we are talking about? You might have guessed. Ian is getting hitched up. So, one more week of freedom. How are you feeling? Nervous? He's probably nervous. He's the one who's more nervous than you are. Okay. Well, good luck. Whatever we can do to help, let us know. Okay, how's everyone else today? I understand we have some questions. Okay, ask away. What are the questions? Oh, law. YouTube questions. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Master, this is from Daniel from Australia.
Okay.
My name is Daniel. I'm a 34-year-old layperson. I'm Vietnamese from Sydney, Australia.
Okay, hello Daniel, Vietnamese Daniel from Sydney, Australia. Okay.
After coming across Master YongHua's teachings on YouTube 2019, I found my life has more meaning and clarity. Life is still difficult, but I no longer feel lost. I also feel lucky to have come across your teachings on YouTube as a disciple of Master YongHua and have the opportunity to ask questions. I would like to ask a question about friendships and meddling in others' karma. Question: if I help a friend with his personal problems, such as providing him with emotional support, guidance, or even praying for him, am I also meddling with his karma? Example: if my friend has a mental illness, such as depression or narcissism, he will often call seeking emotional support and advice, which I provide as a friend. Does this count as me meddling in his affairs? I often wonder why, after helping my friends through emotional support or guidance, I experience a lot of hardships in life while they don't. Thank you.
Okay, and what do you think? Well, first of all, I'm glad that Daniel from Sydney, Australia, found Master YongHua's teachings. That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear it because, well, two reasons. Number one, that is available. I'm not sure what form, what format, but I hope that more and more his dharmas could be available to many more people in various languages, English, Vietnamese, Chinese, whatever. Okay, so it's great to hear that Master YongHua's teaching, because he's really a great bodhisattva. His teaching is very sound. It's very insightful. It was helpful to me personally as well. He changed my life around as well. I didn't receive direct teaching from him, but except for a few times, 5 times. But in general, the foundation of my spiritual practice is based on his teachings. So that's why I'm very pleased that more people are able to take advantage of it. And as far as my work is concerned, I try to add a little bit more to his teachings. In particular, do things that was not available to me by answering questions for you. So I welcome your questions anytime about anything. So ask away. All right. So his question is meddling. It's about meddling. Yes, in Buddhism, when you help someone, it's called meddling, because you are meddling into the karmic settling, the settling of karmic debts between people. When people have some problems, it's because it's the result of their karmic retributions. So when we help people, we basically are meddling into that settling of karmic debts. And therefore, when you meddle, you will have to pay the price. And that's the technical side of the problem. In simple terms, if you try to help people, help at all, there is a price to pay. It's never free. And that's the way it is. That's just life. When we help people, we must be prepared to pay the price for helping others. Whether it's explained in Buddhism as the meddling, interfering into the natural settling of karmic debts or not, doesn't matter. You will see, as in Daniel's case, that you are, if you're lucky, that is, for most of you, you will see that there is a direct relation between your meddling to someone else's affairs versus your getting in trouble and bearing their burden for them. So that's natural. So Daniel is experiencing that, and he's right. It's basically when he helped his friend, he experienced difficulties, and then the friend got a little bit better, and that's normal. Okay. However, so the question really becomes, should we or shouldn't we? Right? You know that you have to pay the price. Should we or should we not help? And this is where your discretion, your wisdom matters. First of all, if it's yes, go ahead. Blue.
Con nghĩ khi mà mình tu đó thì mình phải trải lòng từ bi giúp đỡ mọi người, nhưng phải biết rằng mình phải trả giá. Nhưng mà con có cái phương tiện là thay vì trực tiếp trả giá đó, thì con thỉnh những cái pháp như là pháp vãng sanh, pháp 49 ngày hay là pháp dược sư, thì như vậy có thể tránh khỏi trực tiếp trả giá hay không? A Di Đà Phật.
Of course, we need to have kindness and compassion, and then we need to help people. But and then we also know that there's a price to pay when we help. But then I am using an expedient by trying not paying directly, but I will request some Dharma, like for example, the rebirth black, the 49-day black, or the medicine master black. So is it okay?
Yes, I'll get to that. Let me try to answer the questions for most people. In general, for example, there are people who don't believe in Buddhism, the people who don't necessarily want to do what YongHua asked about. So let me address the general question first and her questions later. And all right. So the problem is that there's some people that you must help, such as, suppose, your family members, your husband, your wife, your children, your relatives, who are in trouble, can you afford to ignore it? So in those cases, you have to help. In those cases, you should help, and you should prepare yourself to pay the price as well. Beware, there's a price to pay. All right? Because this is the nature of our relationship. We have this close relationship that will force us to engage, whether we like it or not. If we don't engage, then we won't be able to feel good about ourselves. Okay? So there are times where you must engage, there are times where you must help, and you have to be prepared to pay the price. If there are times where the person is not close to you, should you or shouldn't you help? That's up to you. It's up to you how you feel about that person, how you feel about yourself. But it's still the same. You have to pay the price. Furthermore, there are certain problems that you need to be careful about. Give an example. If you know this person has Ebola, anyone? Would you help? Would you come over and say, I help you? I don't care if I die. Or if this person has the plague, would you help? Okay, that's why you have to be careful. There are certain problems. My point is that certain problems that you can't help. Don't be silly. We all have limitations. You can't just help everyone about anything. In particular, I point out to Daniel that there's one problem that he should avoid, and all of us should avoid if we can, is the problem of people who feel depressed. Okay? Personally, helping people who are depressed is not that much different than helping someone who has Ebola. It's that dangerous. Because you pay the price for a very long time. Because if your help is really significant, if that person feels better and you help that person resolve the problems, depression in a very significant way, it goes over to you. So that's why it's very dangerous. There's certain things you should avoid. Okay, if someone needs some money to eat, yes, it's no problem helping them. If someone needs to release their frustrations and anger, it's okay. If someone feels bad, you let them cry on your shoulders. That's okay. Okay? Those are harmless things and nice things to do, decent things to do. But there are certain things that you definitely should be more careful and preferably should not engage, such as problems you cannot handle yourself. Okay, if you know there's some problems you can't handle, it's way beyond your capacities, your capabilities. This is when you refer to them, to encourage them to go see professionals who can handle it. In particular, people who are bipolar, very serious problem nowadays. People who are manic, people who are depressed. Please be careful. Do not engage because it's very dangerous. Because they are as catchy as Ebola, as COVID-19, as all these serious illnesses. And not only are they catchy, they're very difficult to resolve. Okay, not easy to resolve at all. Especially the people who have depression. Even professionals can't be of much help. Okay, especially if they are severely depressed and suicidal. Definitely, you need to refer them to professionals. Recently, as a matter of fact, there is a lady who has a boyfriend who has drug issues, among other problems, and he goes berserk. And these are the things that you should not engage, because it's very difficult to resolve these issues. And you're meddling with the kinds of issues that will cause you a lot of grief to you and your family. It's better to refer these people to professionals. She asked me to help. I helped a little bit and said, this is not enough, let me tell you right now. There's no way, the dosage is not enough. And she said, I don't care. And that's silly. You don't do that, okay? You should know your limitations. So in Daniel's case, to help someone who's depressed, I definitely, in that case, I would talk a little bit briefly and say, I know you're feeling bad, so forth, and you try to get away as soon as possible and refer them to go see a professional. There's nothing wrong with going see a professional with some issue that the professionals are trained to do. And you know, especially for people who are severely depressed, they need help, they need professional help. Okay, and that's what happened when Daniel helped some people, especially his friends who have depression. He felt pretty bad. He felt that life is suddenly became so hard and have so much trouble, and that's from the depression. So he should be more careful. As far as YongHua's question is, can I help indirectly, is another way to use professionals as well. We have in Buddhism, for those of you who believe, we have certain tools, certain means to help such people, okay? And those helps could prove to be very effective. It has been effective in the past. Each case is different, of course, but the difference is that what YongHua's question is referring to is that you can help, but also avoid getting affected by the help, meaning that in particular in our cases, in our approach is that when we help, we assume responsibility so that the repercussions don't go on to you. Okay? And you have to be careful because these dharmas, the Buddhist dharmas, are available in many places, but for most places, they will not be able to shield you from the consequences. All they do is that they help a little bit, and you still are responsible for meddling, for referring them or asking them to help the people who are in trouble. Okay, so it's a little bit more involved in Buddhism as well. So you better know what you're doing. Okay, including if you refer someone to a professional that prevents that person from killing himself or herself, you are also involved. You still have to pay the price. But still, it is, to me, it's still something that we should all try to do when possible, because how can we stand here and ignore somebody who desperately needs help? Okay. All right. Any questions or comments? Yes, Black.
Thank you, Master. Talking about the depression, I want to share some of my personal experience. It's about 1 year ago, one of my friend, I knew she got very badly depression. And so some of our friends, we decided to go to hiking with her to make her maybe happy. So we go to hike one time every week, and I always pick her up and send her back. And I found out
Good thing you didn't go ice climbing.
Yeah, I know, it's too dangerous. I can't handle that. But even go to hiking with her is I got a flag a lot. Even I can't bear sitting in the same car with her because she was keeping talking and talking, and her voice affected me a lot. I just got angry, and I don't know. It's feel very bad, and we hiked together maybe 3 or 4 times. I just give up. So for now, if she asks for some help from me, like use my gym guest part, or she want to put some stuff in my garage, I think that's okay. That's what I can do now. I just feel that's okay, but I just can't stay with her.
Yeah, you should
that's
know your limitation. That's correct.
Yeah.
So in the case that you let her store things in your garage, you can use the remote control and press it and open the door. And when she's done, press it and close it. Okay, we need to be cautious, careful. We all have limitations. Okay, and we can help, but to the extent of what we're capable of. If you're so sensitive, actually you're doing your kung fu level is pretty good. You cannot handle depression. Trust me. People who are severely depressed, it's very, very dangerous. A little bit of depression is not a problem, okay? Like people who are stressed out and so forth, we should help them out, okay? That's okay. But people who are clearly severely depressed, stay away because it's as dangerous as Ebola. Let me tell you right now. And there's plenty of people who are like that nowadays. Why? Most likely because they try to help others and they pass it on, like the COVID-19. It's as catchy as the COVID-19. The more you help, the more you catch it. It's that dangerous. Okay?
One more question is about the COVID-19. Yesterday, my sister told me my niece, who has a very serious kidney problem.
Serious what problem?
Kidney.
Kidney problems.
Yeah.
Okay.
She tested positive of COVID-19 at school. She's fine now because there's no any symptoms. But my sister and I both worry about what's going to happen next because she needs to take a medicine every day to suppress her immunity. So I'm thinking what I can do. I know there's not too much things I can do, so I want to ask Master, is that okay? I go to her house to sit with her, or I can just sit for her by myself at my house? So what's the suggestion about it? Thank you, Master.
At your current kung fu level, the COVID-19 cannot kill you. And you seem to be healthy, yes? There's a doctor right behind you, so I'm cautious. I'm not trying to do any diagnosis. Okay, you better talk to her. But if normally at the current level kung fu, it's not much a COVID-19 can do to you, except like the flu. Okay, this is why. This is the advantage you have by practicing cant. Yes, you get sick, but you won't die. Okay, it's a nuisance more than a danger to you, the COVID-19. Okay, so you can help those people, and at the worst, you catch it. So what? Okay, and you give it to me. So what? Okay, it doesn't matter to us. Okay, so we're not worried about it. So you can. Yes, is there a question over here? Yes, yellow.
Thank you, Master. So it sounds like if we need to be cautious, does this mean that there are certain professions that we should avoid? Like we shouldn't be doctors or psychiatrists?
Absolutely. I would not go into psychiatry unless you want to go crazy. I mean, it's unavoidable. It's funny. Before I became a monk, a lot of people talked to me about marriage counseling. I had a lot of marriage issues. I don't want to scare you in, but lots of people had marriage issues, marital problems, and so so many people I know would go see marriage counselors. Okay, and they only get superficial help from them, and then I don't want to tell you how, but okay. But the help is superficial. It turns out that these marriage counselors ended up getting divorced themselves. So what does it tell you? They can't solve the problems, and the problem actually, their clients' problems actually ended up overwhelming them because they tried to help. That's the nature of the thing. Or if you're a doctor, that is in case you're a doctor or something, or whether it's Eastern medicine and Western medicine, and you heal people of illnesses, you're going to get ill. You're going to get sick. That's guaranteed. So that's why you have to be careful. Okay, there are consequences in helping others. So you better know what you're getting into. Okay, so there's some professions I would not go into, like psychotherapies or those types of mental illnesses. We don't have the skills, the means to deal with them. Okay, the one thing they're very helpful with is suicide prevention. That's very, very important. But beyond that, it can't be solved. Okay, they can't help at all, not much. Okay, so, but on the other hand, I would encourage you to become a doctor, because I think it's a wonderful profession. Okay. But be prepared that you have to pay the price. At least you get in trouble, but you can make a difference, a real difference. You can really help people, many people. Whereas to me, you go into psychotherapy and psychology and those things, it's a field that to me is not very, very good. The knowledge is not there because you're dealing with something that you don't understand. You're dealing with invisible demons and ghosts, and you talk like that. They say, well, they don't believe it, and you don't believe it. That means they don't know what they're doing. See, in Buddhism, we are trained to deal with those issues. Okay, we deal with the invisible side of the world, the invisible aspects of the world. There's a yin and yang. There's visible and invisible. What you see right now is visible. That's our world. There's also in parallel. There's an invisible world of the ghosts and spirits and the demons and so forth. Okay. If you think that you are in control of the world, and whether you're emperor or president of, you are badly misguided because you only have influence, control over half of your life. This is the invisible side that you are ill-equipped to handle. So you have to know your limitations. Right? So there are some, to me, I love it when people have the ideal to go into professions that contribute to society, can make a difference in society, and even quite often at the expense of their own safety and their own welfare. It's a great aspiration. We should all do that, but be careful. There's some consequences, whether you become a teacher or something, and if you really happen to really are able to help the kids in a big way, okay? For example, the kids come from very difficult families. The parents are addicted to drugs. The parents are violent. The parents are depressed. You have to help them. You have no choice, right? Because that's what you chose to undertake when you become a teacher. You're going to bear the weight of the world on your shoulders, whether they pay you or not. Okay? So that's your ideal. I love it. But be careful. Be careful. You have to learn in those cases, you have to go into meditation and develop skills to make yourself grow stronger and stronger and stronger so that you can help even more, whether you're a teacher, a doctor, and whatever. Okay? I don't want you to live scared and live like chickens. Okay? We should help. We should follow our ideals, but be aware that we have limitations and there's some consequences of our actions. Okay? Why is it important? Not only for ourselves, but also for our families. We should bring it back to our families. YouTube, go ahead.
Today, when we help people, don't we receive blessings? Isn't it Mahayana to help people anytime we can?
Yeah. But Mahayana is to help people, but also it depends on who you are. For example, my master, Master YongHua, when he taught his disciples, he gave us the tools such as 42 hands and eyes. He says, don't use them. It's because we're not ready to use them. Just because we can help doesn't mean we should. We should be, because when you help before we're ready, we can't help much, and then we also get in trouble for trying to do something beyond our means, our abilities, and therefore it's ill-advised. We can help, we should help when we are able to handle it. Even my own disciples, at the low levels, I don't allow them to help at all. High levels, I throw them to the wolves because they're strong enough to be able to recover from their wounds. Okay, so it's different. Buddhism is not that blind. It's not that rigid. Okay. YouTube, continue.
This is a different question from Malcolm. Master, I have a dangerous job, so am I protected by the Buddhas, or does this use up my blessings by not having something bad happen?
Why would the Buddhas want to protect you? Have you ever asked? Why do you keep on asking for things, Malcolm? It's a dangerous job, then change jobs. If you know it's dangerous. For example, right now, I hope, Malcolm, you don't quit this dangerous job and fly to Ukraine. Okay, it's even worse. Okay, you have to know your limitations. If you have families or members in Ukraine, get out, because it's too dangerous. Okay, it's just common sense. If it's a dangerous job, it's really, really dangerous, then switch jobs. They don't pay you enough, from what I can tell. Okay, we do these jobs because dangerous jobs because we are well compensated for it. Okay. Now, if he feels that he wants blessings, yeah. If you want to continue and And of course, it depends on what kind of blessings. There's some blessings that will help you become richer. There's some blessings will help you become more youthful. There's some blessings will help you become better, get raises and so forth. And there are blessings that will help you, protect you from getting injured, getting hurt. There are all sorts of blessings. And yes, if once these blessings run out, or they're not mature yet, you will not be able to get what you want. Okay? So the first rule of thumb is if you know it's dangerous, get out. Okay? Don't be silly and say, oh, I am not worried. My blessing will protect me. If you're like that, no Buddhas and Bodhisattvas would want to protect you. Okay? We protect people who are, how shall we put it? Reasonable? Sane? Okay. Wei Mountain, go ahead.
Master, you brought it up, so I have a question in regard to what you mentioned. How do we, as caring, thoughtful Buddhists, what contribution can we make to stopping a malevolent dictator from killing babies?
It's beyond my means. It's beyond my wisdom. It's beyond my comprehension how to do that. Okay? My specialty is not to engage in worldly affairs. I'm sorry, I can't do much. Okay? What I can do is to help the babies who get in trouble. But I cannot stop the dictators. I cannot do much as far as politics go and so forth. I'm sorry, we all worried, we all indignant about what's happening, but it's called karmic retributions, called karmic debts settling, in a way. Okay, so from a Buddhist perspective, number one, learn to recognize your affliction, yes, and cultivate on that. And this is what we Buddhists are supposed to do. And that is, we contribute in a positive way, and we are in no position, honestly, to stop the ills of the world. Okay? We ourselves try to avoid creating ills or adding ills to the world. That's our jobs as Buddhists, as decent people. But for us to say that you cannot do bad, we are in no position, for example, to tell the demons you cannot harm the world, you cannot harm someone. That's not what we do. Okay? So you need to know your limitations, our limitations. Okay? You too.
From Gold Forest Daniel, is it okay if we recite mantras while driving?
Yes, but be careful. Recite Buddhas is better. Like when you're driving, I strongly advise you to recite Medicine Master Buddha, the name. Okay, in English, whatever language. I like to recite in Chinese. When I drive, I recite Yao Shi Ru Lai, Yao Shi Ru Lai. I think it's very important. You never know. Okay, I also have a very dangerous job. But I have no choice. I have to drive. And when I drive, I recite the Medicine Master Buddha's name. Okay? All right. Any other questions? Okay, good. Okay. Let me discuss to you just for today, because I can't seem to be able to get to it. Okay, but do ask questions. Okay, it's okay. This anecdote here from the founder of our Chan school, Master Lin Yo, Master Wei Shang Lin Yo. Okay, Master. Okay, so can we do it quickly? Okay, and because the reason I ask is that, are the Chinese people here today? So wonderful. Okay. So Master Wei Shang Ling Yo one day called the temple director. Okay, Yuan Chu. And so the temple director came. So far, so good? The master said, I called for the temple director. Why did you come? The director had no reply. Next, the master then asked the attendant to get the head monk, Di Zuo. So the head monk came. The master said, I called for the head monk. Why did you come? Head monk also had no reply. And no anecdote. This is Chinese teaching. And this is from a great Chan master. And look at everyone say, what? Huh? Even the Chinese people. Excuse me. Because I had the exact same reaction too. Say, huh? What does it mean? It's even worse for us. Okay? Because what do you think? Quickly. We don't have a lot of time. Okay? What do you think? Why? What is the point here? Anyone? So he called. This is one of the greatest Chan teachers. He called his subordinate. He says, "Hey," and the temple director came and said, "Why did you come?" Oh, he called the next person in charge. Said, "Come," and he came, and Master Wei Shang said, "Why did you come? Go ahead, Wei Mountain."
Thank you, Master. Maybe because they are so attached to Marx?
No, Colombia. Okay. Anyone else? Go ahead, Wei Mountain.
Maybe because the thought just stopped there, so they don't know how to answer.
So to stop there, I don't know how to answer. Anyone else? Come on. Wei Mountain. You see, it's where I came from. They're Chan experts. You're not, clearly. Wei Mountain.
Maybe because he wanted to mess with them.
You're so far off, Mr. Catholic. Anyone else? Yes, old monk here.
Thưa thầy, cái ông tổ đó, ông muốn nói cái không, cái tánh không, cái biết nghe của mấy người đó đó, thì đâu có ta, có thầy, có trò gì đâu mà mấy người phản ứng là ông rầy là phải rồi. Biết nghe cái người học trò, biết nghe cái Phật tánh đó, ông tổ cũng có cái đó. Thì ông kêu thì tất cả các pháp đều không, nó không nhất trong kinh Bát Nhã nó không đó. Mấy người này phản ứng lại, tức là dùng cái tướng phản ứng lại, ông không chịu.
Go back to sleep. Okay, anyone else? Yes. Blue. Yes.
Đáng lẽ là tại không gọi cho nên không đến, có gọi cho nên có đến.
I don't need another riddle, okay? Come on, Chinese people. What happened to the Chinese people? The reason I brought it up is I know a few Chinese people coming this morning, so I said, well, since I couldn't ask last night, I'm going to ask the Chinese people this morning. Yes, go ahead, black Chinese person.
I guess because he wanted them to know what they are doing.
No, they're doing.
Yeah, to think.
Okay, think. Okay. I'm going to be polite and say nothing. Anyone else? What is the point here? It's so Chan. You see, my point first is that even Chinese people don't get it. Isn't it fascinating? That the Chan teaching is so advanced that Master Lingyo's teaching is so advanced that very few people understand it anymore, including the people who speak his language. We are foreigners. We don't speak the language. We don't understand. That's understandable. Let me tell you. Okay? So, the question is very simple. Master Wei Shan says, call the temple director. Okay, the guy came. Okay? So Master Wei Shan said, I call the temple director. Okay? Let me change this for you, see if it helped you a little bit. Okay? This is a translation. Why did you come? All right? This is for you, non-Chinese speaking people. You should have been translated as you come to do what? Is the literal translation. You cannot. There's a big difference between why do you come versus you come to do what? Agree, disagree, Chinese people? Huh? Huge difference. Got that? So, for us non-Chinese speaking people, we are at a disadvantage. If the translation is not precise, the teaching gets lost. There's no way for us to catch it. But even for the Chinese people present here today, they still don't get it. That's my second point. You know, wonderful. Isn't sad that there's such a beautiful teaching, and it gets lost. So therefore, we cannot afford to get it let it get lost. Okay. So now you see the translation for you, both Chinese and English-speaking people. What do you think? What is the point? Wei Mountain.
Good morning, Master. What is your purpose here?
What is your purpose here? Okay? Anyone else? Here's the thing. The Master Lingyo, the man in charge, the big boss, called the number 2 person, the temple director. He's the one who called him. And the temple director came and says, you come to do what? So it's called shock treatment. You got that? That's part of the Chan teaching. Inflicting shocks. The temple director is not prepared for that. And that's the nature of the teaching. Okay? And the Chan training is that quite often at their levels, there's shock treatment to see how they react. Does it make sense? Huh? I'm sorry? A test, yes. What we call, Master Hsuan calls test. Okay? But this is a special test. It's designed to shock. Last night, for example, I talked to some of my Korean monks, and I talked gently, and all of a sudden I turned my gun and pointed at one monk to stress him more than the other people. It's called stress test. Okay? He didn't do well. And that's what happens in life. In life, there will be times where you'll be stressed out. How do you handle it? That's what Chan is about. Chan will train you to handle, to better handle stress. And if you handle the stress test well, you can improve. Or you are better able to handle your life, your life challenges. And so these are real skills. They're not theoretical at all. They're not like a wishful thinking or casual or pleasant thing. You go and you meditate and you come back and you feel good. No, you go there to learn, to open your mind and develop skills to handle your life better. That's what Chan really is. Trust me. Is that clear? So these teachers, they don't waste time. They don't waste your time, by the way. Am I making sense to you? If you come and you say, oh, I want to be comfortable, I want to feel good and so forth, no one is going to touch you. But these people, the temple director is a guy who says, I want to learn, I want to improve, I want to become a better person. And that's what the stress test was given to him. Is that clear? So there's a range. Like you go to university, I like to make the analogy. You go to school, you need to know what is the level, how far can you go? You can go a bachelor's degree, how about master's degree? What about PhD degree? What about postdoctorate? And who's teaching? What is the credentials? What are the accomplishments for those people? What is their track record? There's a huge difference. Yes, you're an outstanding student, you can go to any school and you develop yourself because you're better than your teachers. Fine, no problem, you're a genius. Okay, that's fine. But in general, for the average person, the environment matters. Okay, so he says, I come here. I call, he calls him and says, I call the temple director. So you're the temple director, okay? I call temple director. You come to do what? Okay? So this is stress test. What are you doing here? You see that? It's pointed. What are you doing here? It's a poking. See what the guy would do. Same thing at work. Okay? You really cannot know how much you can depend on your employee unless you poke them, stress test them, okay, and see how they react. Because eventually, one of these days, they'll be so stressed out. How are they going to react when they're stressed out? Okay, I test my disciples constantly, and they always complain, Master, I'm so stressed out. I'm so busy. It's not fair. Why is it me? Why other people don't have any problems? Why is it I have so many problems? Okay. Yeah. And unless you're stressed out, okay, you will not be motivated to learn. You will not be motivated to rise the occasion. Because that's the secret in Chan training is that when you're under stress, okay, your real true self comes out and says, hey, you can't talk to me like that. Hey, you can't do that to me. Okay, and that's part of the training. All right? So, and that's the point here. And this point here is that I gave you an insight to how the great Chinese Chan teachers, what they did in the past to train their disciples. Okay? It's a very stressful environment for their disciples, by the way. It's not written in Chinese books, scriptures. But that's what happens to them. They underwent a lot of stress tests in order to make them more nimble on their feet. The guy came and said, what are you doing here? Okay, so he just came because he was called. And then the master says, what are you doing here? So what did the temple director do? Nothing. He wasn't stressed at all. So he passed the test. You see? It's a stress test. They said, understand? Instead of, Master, you called me. You're the one who called me. Didn't you call me? Did you not call me here? The temple director said, okay, meaning you learn, if you really have skills, you're under stress, what do? Nothing whatsoever. At first you move, you say, wait a minute, didn't you call me? You know? But even at a higher skill level for this temple director, he says, he's waiting. What else have you got for me? What do you mean? Okay? And that's exactly what you do when you're under stress. You patiently wait until you get more information, and you do nothing until then. Because you say, but, didn't you call me? But, I'm so sorry, I thought you called me. You fail because you move already. You're excited already. Your head is no longer clear. So that's why these two people are very well trained. That's the point, okay? They're so well trained. They said, when they're under stress tests, and probably it's not the first time it happened to them, okay? Because for you, teachers, when you're under stress like that, your shoulder will tighten up and say, oh my God, now it hurts again. Because you can't. No one prepared you for this environment. You see? You became a teacher. The kids will come and throw things at you, knives at you, point a gun at you, and cry their heart out and say, "Oh, I'm so depressed," and so forth. And you are ill prepared for these stress tests. And that's why you have to come to the temple on the weekends. Oh, it's been such a bad week. I don't know what to do. Okay? You got that? That's the point. Yeah. Don't jump the gun. Patiently wait until you have more information. Don't commit. But these people are even higher level than that. Maybe you don't understand it yet. They're not that high, but they are high level where they see that. So what? The master yells at me. The master questions me. So what? Say, wait. So what are you excited about? What are you getting at? You see, they're so skilled. They have some real skills. Instead of some of my disciples, why do you yell at me? You don't understand me. You misunderstand me. I came here because you called. You see, you never survive when you're at Master Ling Yo's temple. Only I will put up with you. Your tantrums. You see, that's the different levels of these, his level, his disciples versus our disciples. The Chinese versus the non-Chinese. Okay, cool. So the temple director, which is number 2, okay? Clearly, he passed the test, and clearly it's no big deal for him. But you don't realize that it's a lot more than you think. It's not the words here. But when Master Ling Yo said, I called the temple director, you came here to do what? Okay? It's very pointed. He actually poked it very hard. Okay? But the temple director, Kung Fu is so strong. He said, okay, ouch, it hurts. But he wouldn't flinch like he's supposed to. Okay? And then the Master Ling just, okay, you pass, no problem, I stop. And he called the next guy, the head monk, the one who is supposed to be how do you call that? The leader, meaning the role model, if you will, for everyone else. Okay, that guy better be unflinching as well. He also was. So you see, under Master Ling Yo, back then at his temple, his pupils are so well trained. It's very impressive. I can't say the same for my temple. Because my disciples, they invariably, every single time I threw a stress test at them, they all flinched. Now they know. You better improve, because we cannot, let the Chinese, stay so far ahead of us. Okay? Does it help? It's so cool. Think it's such a when you go to such places, every single bit, every little things actually are very meaningful. One look, one word, a gesture. Okay, they all carry such wonderful meanings. That's how great teachers, what they did for their students. And that's why it's so difficult. It cannot be explained, cannot be understood unless you're there. Okay. All right? That's all I have for you today. Thank you.